This stuff is like no joke. It just makes your skin, like if you have an event, use this the day before or even the day of and you're gonna be like, oh my skin. Hey guys and dolls, it's me Cora. Welcome back. First and foremost, I have to say that I do have the fans on and the windows are open. It's very hot today. I got into almost the 90s today here in Oakland. You guys hear some cheering or boos from my neighbors. It's because there's a Warriors game on and it's kind of a big deal here in Oakland. So anyway, moving on. So in terms of the skincare dupes, which is of course the purpose of today's video, when I say dupes, I don't always mean something as like an ingredient for ingredient dupe, or that even texturally they might even be a little bit different, but they do the same thing or they fit in the same space of the skincare routine, which I've discussed in my previous two videos. I will have them linked in the description bar down below if you'd like to check them out and kind of get an idea of what I do in terms of crafting a skincare routine. I will also have a link to my skincare manifesto, which is still kind of undone. I started writing that actually as just a, some information to a family member, and that's kind of how this whole skincare Sundays thing kind of evolved from that. So thanks, Nicole. The first skincare dupe I want to talk to you guys about, unfortunately I don't have one to show you, but I know of two dupes for this product. First of all, there are a few different types of the Bioderma, which is a micellar water, which basically means that there's oil suspended in water and it doesn't feel oily as it's removing your makeup. It's quite genius. You can also use this like if you make a mistake while you're applying your makeup to just get that off and you don't have to rinse it off. It's quite lovely. This is the only one I have on hand to show you. This is my personal favorite because I don't find it to be terribly expensive. It's a lot cheaper than what I used to use, which was the MAC Pro makeup remover, which is essentially the exact same thing. There's also a dupe from Garnier, which I have not tried, and I noticed that the ingredients are a little bit different. So again, it's not a ingredient for ingredient dupe, but they're both micellar waters. I think I'm pronouncing that correct. Micellar? We'll pretend that that's correct. At the end of the day, when you're taking your makeup off, you're going to want to do a second cleanse, which we'll talk about in just a sec. The Garnier makes a dupe, which I have not tried, and I do believe the ingredients are slightly different, so I really cannot speak to whether or not that one works. But I used to use the MAC Pro makeup remover, I think is what it was called. Very, very similar concept. It was not called a micellar water, but it was the same thing. I mean, when I used them, I was like, I really can't tell the difference between these two products. Personally prefer the Bioderma. You get a lot more product. The price really isn't all that bad, and I enjoy buying this from Beautylish. If you've never bought from Beautylish, they actually will send you a text message when they're shipping your order and when it arrives and everything, and if you text them, they will text you back. So it's not a robot. It's actually quite cool. Plus they ship out fast. This next dupe is one that I've already discussed. This is the Nude Perfect Cleanse Omega Cleansing Jelly. This brand is having some kind of issue. They used to be sold at Sephora, now they're not, and you can't find them anywhere online. It's a pain in the butt, and I'm using this as a pointer stick. So in an effort to find something similar, I discovered this. This is the Sonia Kashuk Dissolve Gel to Oil Makeup removing cleanser. So these are pretty darn close in terms of the way that they work. Stuff is really cool. It's different. I talked about it in both of my other routine videos where it's like a thick Vaseline kind of texture. You rub it on your face, it turns to oil, and you mix it with water, it turns into a milky oil. You either rinse it off or you wipe it off. It's so cool and different and unique. So I found a dupe. This is the Sonia Kashuk Dissolve Gel to Oil Makeup Removing Cleanser. It works very much the same way. This one to me has more of a silicone type texture. In fact, I do believe maybe it doesn't have silicones in it. Ah, silica. Boom. I was right. The textures are slightly different, but they do function almost identically. This one leaves my skin ever so slightly more moisturized. This one leaves my skin ever so slightly more dry. They work more or less the same way. And this one is $14 or $19. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was substantially cheaper than the $38 you pay for this. And you actually get 4.2 ounces in the Sonia Kashuk version, and you only get 3.4 fluid ounces in the Nude version. There are other brands that sell similar things, but I've tried those and I can recommend them. The next step in my routine is my AHA acid toner. I use this pretty much every morning. Sometimes I'll use it both morning and night. On the days that I don't use my BHA, we'll get to that in a moment. So my favorite, of course, is the Pixie Glow. You guys have seen me use this in my last two videos. But there's another one that I actually like just as much, and that is the Facial Radiance Pads from First Aid Beauty. These are a bit more expensive. You get 60 for I think about $30 bucks is what this costs if memory's serving me. I will have, again, links to everything in the description bar down below so you can be sure how much something costs and things like that. The great thing about this is that it's so convenient. I mean, you just open it up, grab a pad, and use it. So this has actually got Mr. Vintageortacky to start using a glycolic acid on his face, which is freaking awesome that I could get my husband into some like serious skincare, because you know he's kind of resistant to these types of things. He's like, why do I have to put crap on my face? But then he started to feel the results and he's like, all right. Another AHA dupe, which is fantastic, and I haven't discussed like weekly treatments or anything in this series so far, but I thought it was worth mentioning here. The Dr. Dennis Gross Alpha Beta Universal Daily Peel. This stuff is like no joke. It just makes your skin, like if you have an event, use this the day before or even the day of and you're gonna be like, oh my skin. Now this actually comes in a few different versions. Like there's the universal, there's extra strength, there's the regular, there's ultra gentle, so there's lots of different, you know, versions depending on your skin sensitivity, which is fabulous, but these are pretty expensive. This is the Pixie Glow Peel Pads. This has 20% glycolic, so just to kind of give you a, you know, an idea, the Glow Tonic that you use daily has 5%, so this is 4 times as much action for you. Come to think of it, the facial radiance pads don't actually say the percentage, but anyway, this is a little bit different in that you actually have to rinse it off because it's super intense, and let me tell you, you will feel that tingle. Faux show. But this is really great to use on anywhere on the body as well, like places that are calloused. I actually use this on my feet, which is just kind of a fun fact for you. Very intense. I use this very, very rarely on my face. I do tend to actually prefer to use the Dennis Gross ones because they are slightly less irritating on the skin, whereas I find this one's like kind of, it's a little intense, but you know, it's great that the less expensive product is in some ways more effective. I spoke about the difference between AHA and BHA in my daytime skincare routine, so if you're curious, I will have a link to that in the description bar down below. These are actually both from the same brand. This is the Paula's Choice Skin Perfecting 2% BHA liquid. This I used for years, and I never really liked it, to be honest. I feel like it never really quite soaked into my skin, and it left my skin feeling kind of sticky and weird. I really didn't like to use it, and I found that if I used it too often, it would actually break my skin out, which is weird. It shouldn't do that, but it did. Science be damned, sometimes things just happen. So I started using the Paula's Choice Resist Daily Pore Refining Treatment, BHA 2%, and this one is for normal oily combination skin. This one is supposedly for all skin types. Also have like a gel version, which I was using for a while, which again left my skin feeling rather sticky. Resist version is smaller. You get actually a full ounce less product, and it costs $2 more. The Resist version is a much more elegant formula in so many different ways. First of all, the list of ingredients is like 2 or 3 times as long as this, so this is a much more simplistic formula. This might be better if you have super sensitive skin. I don't really know. I think this one is far superior. It also smells better even though it doesn't have fragrance added, so one of those extra ingredients is actually making it smell good. This one kind of smells like vinegary, like a lot of things that have salicylic acid in it tend to have this like kind of gross vinegary kind of smell. Like, have you ever opened a bottle of aspirin? Well, aspirin is salicylic acid, so yeah. Plus, this is virtually textureless. I put it on and I can't feel it. It doesn't add any texture, doesn't make my skin feel sticky. It completely soaks in. So I've actually begun using this more often, and I've seen some really great results with my skin. So now I'm sort of switching off like daytime, nighttime. And that's what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. My skin has been very clear. I have one little resistant bugger who won't go away, but otherwise my my pores are clear. Everything's going quite well with my skin. I did have a little period zip, but you can't help biology. Step in my routine is my water toners, flower mists, whatever you want to call it. So as you guys know, I love the MAC Fix Plus. I've used this the entire time I've been on YouTube. I've actually used this since like 2005, 2006, something like that. I absolutely adore this. It is fantastic. It has a lot of hydrating stuff in it. In terms of flower toners, it's actually pretty moderately priced because they are starting to get really crazy and out there. This one I absolutely love. Speaking of crazy and out there, this is from May Lindstrom. It's called the Jasmine Garden. It smells exactly like jasmine, so if you are a jasmine fan, you'll love this. In fact, I'm going to give myself a quick spritz. Ah, it smells divine. Jasmine's one of my favorite smells in the whole world, but that's $60. Not everyone's gonna plop down $60. In fact, I was at Sephora the other day and they had like a whole section of like flower mists, and some of them were like real cray expensive. Here's a couple that you can get at the drugstore, which are actually quite good. This is the Pixie by Petra Hydrating Milky Mist. So another Pixie product, which Pixie is a great skincare brand that you can get at Target. I cannot recommend it enough. In fact, I'm going to have at least 2 more suggestions from them by the time this video is up. This for me was a bit much. When I used this, I actually broke out a little bit. I might want to revisit this one again in the winter time when my skin gets a bit drier, but now that it's warmer and my skin is producing a little bit extra oil and sweat, I don't need quite as much hydration, so this might be a bit much for me. But I think that if you have skin that isn't acne prone and it's sensitive or dry, you might want to give this a shot. Actually, I will spray this on my body to add a little extra moisture, just, you know, to use it up. I already bought it, so might as well just spray it on. It smells lovely, and it does give me a nice hydrating little boost like on my legs and stuff like that. The other water mist I want to call out is Yes to Cucumbers Cooling Hydrating Mist. This stuff is fantastic. It has a really super fine mist, and for a drugstore product to have that fine of a mist is really impressive. It also locks, which I really like. So get quite a lot of product. This has 5.2 ounces, and just to kind of give you a little bit of a comparison, the Pixie one is 2.7 ounces. The May Lindstrom is 3.38, and the MAC one is 3.4. So the cucumber one is definitely the biggest. This is actually the most hydrating in my personal opinion, even over the Pixie one, which feels a little bit more oily, because that's kind of why it's milky, is because it's kind of like it's an oil suspended in water. Whereas this one is more like glycerin, like really heavy on the glycerin, which gives it a lot of hydration. In fact, it says instant hydration. This also feels really good if you've been out in the sun. Of course, you should be wearing sunscreen, okay? But you still kind of feel a little like overheated and stuff after being in the sun. So this can give you a nice little pep up, and it smells like cucumbers. I'm gonna give myself a spray of this one too. Let's just get real glowy. Yes. It does have a slightly bitter taste though. It smells good, doesn't taste good, so don't open mouth spray it like I just did. The next step in my routine is a water serum that delivers a lot of vitamins and antioxidants and things like that to my skin. So I've talked a lot about the Ultra Repair Hydrating Serum from First Aid Beauty. You can see I kind of revisit the same brands over and over. I find brands that have great products and I kind of explore what they've got to offer me. In fact, there's so many things I'm not mentioning because I just haven't quite got to it. I'm just trying to mention dupes of things that I've already mentioned to you guys. So anyway, this stuff is great. It has a water-like texture, so when you spray it out, it's crystal clear and it has almost no texture. This delivers a lot of hydration and vitamins to your skin, so it's a really great serum to use in conjunction with others, but you want to put it on first because of that water weight that it has. Now this is somewhat similar. This is the Pixie H2o Skin Drink, and it delivers the same kind of thing. There's all kinds of vitamins, antioxidants in it, but texturally this one has a slightly more it has a thicker texture because it has dimethicone in it, which is it's like a silicone derivative. So this one for me is not my favorite. I don't tend to favor silicone textured serums just because I like to leave any kind of texture like that up to my makeup that I'm going to put on. Like if I choose to put on a primer, I don't want that to pill up because I put something else that was silicone underneath it. Just as an FYI, that can happen. So if you've ever had like that pilling up, that's what's happening, is too many silicones together will sort of pill up and act weird. I haven't noticed that this really interacts with anything, so it's not a cause for concern necessarily. I just like to totally avoid the problem even before it begins. With that said, on the days that I'm not going to wear makeup, I do like to use this because the texture's great, the smell is great. Also, this is kind of cool. It comes in a little mini version, which is fabulous. They sell a few different of their products in little minis, which was great. I actually just took this to LA with me because I knew one of the days I wasn't going to be wearing makeup at all, and so it was perfect for that. In one of my routine videos, I mentioned using Benzol Peroxide as like a spot treatment, and one of you mentioned that you can actually use it as a mask because they said that like you get almost all of the benefits of Benzol Peroxide within like 15 minutes of it being on your skin. So just put it on and then rinse it off, and you've already got the benefit without having to leave it on with all that irritation or like a weird white spot. And I'm like, dude, that's genius. So I've actually been using it like that to spot treat any acne that I had at that time, and as I said, my skin's been clearing up, my skin's been doing really well, so I'm going to continue to use it in that way. But here are two different ones. There's the classic Clean and Clear Persogel 10. This is 10% benzoyl peroxide. It's super effective, kind of drying, but again, if you're going to use it as a mask in that way that I just described, maybe not a problem. This is kind of the classic go-to, you know, go get it at Target for $5. I've used it on and off for years. I sometimes buy the Target version, it really doesn't matter. This is the maximum strength. I think they have a 5%. You can also buy like the Target version, or I'm sure Walmart makes a version. Everywhere pretty much makes a knockoff of this. It's a very basic anti-acne and very effective anti-acne. Basically, you know, salicylic acid also works to combat acne and things by thinning out the pores, but this actually helps to kill the bacteria that are behind acne, because that's the most important thing to remember, is that acne is almost like a bacterial infection. Super gross to think about. So anyway, this is the Clinique Acne Solutions All Over Clearing Treatment. Now this one has far less benzoyl peroxide. It has 2.5%, but I find it works just about identically. Smell of it I really like. I don't know how to describe it, but it's sort of just like clinical and almost like pepperminty. I love it. I know I'm such a weirdo, and fragrance is not a reason to buy skincare, but let's be honest, you're putting it on your face, it helps. Plus the bottle's cute. And realistically, it's not super expensive, so it's one I don't mind, you know, investing a little bit more money in, especially since I'm using it as a mask a couple of times a week now instead of using it every single day on spots. I'm having less spots because I'm using it less often, even though I'm using more when I use it. Anyway. Okay, so the next dupe I want to talk about are vitamin C dupes. In my video I talked about the Genius Ultimate Anti-Aging Vitamin C Serum from Algenist. I have all the samples ever of this. It's a really elegant formula. It has a nice amount of texture to it, so it's really hydrating. It smells really nice. It has algae extract in it, all kinds of antioxidants and peptides, and oh my gosh, this formula is so amazing. But it's like crazy stupid expensive. So I went on the hunt to find a vitamin C product that would be less expensive, because even I didn't want to spend all that much money on it. I wanted to get, you know, the samples. So I decided to go ahead and get the Paula's Choice Resist C15 Super Booster. This stuff is pretty freaking awesome. I had mentioned trying the Drunk Elephant Vitamin C Serum, which worked so amazingly. Like seriously, my skin was fantastic when I was using it, but the smell I couldn't hang with. It had just a really strong metallic smell that almost smelled a little like blood to me. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this smells really similar. So it tells me two things. I wasn't like imagining it with the Drunk Elephant, and that also the ascorbic acid, which is what vitamin C is, just smells like that, and I just kind of have to learn to live with it. I know that the Algenist uses a different type of vitamin C, which is why it doesn't smell like that. But I also noticed that, sorry Algenist, I think that this one is actually more effective. So when I run through all my samples of this, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the full size of the Paula's Choice one. I picked this up for just $9, I think is what I paid for this, and it's a pretty fair amount. I've been using it now for about 1 or 2 weeks, and it's about halfway gone. The purpose of vitamin C is to brighten the skin, tighten the skin. It helps to reverse sun damage. It does all kinds of great stuff, which we will discuss super a bit more in depth in a future video where I'm talking a little bit more about treatments, a little bit more about vitamins and things you need for your skin. Really quick, I want to mention one other sort of kind of dupe. This is the Pixie Hydrating Milky Serum. Again, love Pixie. First of all, this bottle, I mean, so cute. This is an interesting serum. It actually is like a white kind of color, and it's pretty close to water weight actually. I wouldn't say that this is like a thicker, like the Algenist one is actually almost like a thick serum, whereas the Pixie one is sort of like much thinner than that, and then the Resist one is literally like water. This is not a super concentrated amount of vitamin C, but it does have vitamin C. It has a ton of other antioxidants in it that are great for your skin. It smells really good, and I've pretty much used this every day since I've bought it. I took this on my trip to LA with me recently. Again, was kind of trying some things out. It actually leaves your skin feeling a little bit extra hydrated, whereas the Paula's Choice one just sort of sucks into the skin. You don't really feel it afterward. You might feel it maybe a little bit sticky, whereas this one actually leaves your skin very silky and smooth and everything like this, but this does have less vitamin C. It can also be a benefit if you have very sensitive skin and you don't want to have like a ton of vitamin C, because a really aggressive amount of vitamin C can be irritating to the skin. I know that the Drunk Elephant is one of the most aggressive vitamin C, and I did have a lot of tingling when I used that, which is another reason why I stopped using it. I really think that the Paula's Choice one is the way to go. I think it's either $45 or $48 for the full-size bottle, and you can get the little mini and try it out first. Now we're down to just 2 more categories, the first one being retinol. Now, as you guys know, I absolutely love my Luna night sleeping oil. I actually don't have it upstairs. It's still packed from my trip, so unfortunately I'm not going to show it to you guys, but I showed it in my most recent nighttime video. You guys know I absolutely love it. Here's a picture of it in case you're, you know, unfamiliar, you haven't seen my previous video. I love it. It's fantastic. It uses a new form of retinol that is like newly discovered. No other company has this product. It's fantastic. However, you can get retinol other places. You can use a prescription version of retinol, which is the most effective. It also tends to be the most irritating on the skin, but it's super effective and very aggressive. So if you're dealing with more advanced aging or mature skin or really enlarged pores, really, you know, you really just need to reel the skin in, you might want to talk to your doctor and see if this is right for you. And there are just like tons and tons and tons of retinol products on the market. Here are a couple that I've used. For a long time I was using the Peter Thomas Roth Retinol Fusion PM. This is a water weight serum, maybe a little bit thicker than water. It's sort of almost like an oil water hybrid. This one doesn't leave any major texture on the skin. It does soak in really well. I actually liked this pretty well. This worked for me, but I just kind of wanted to elevate it with the Luna, and now I've fallen in love with it and I can't live without it. I actually have like half of this bottle left, so I'm just now using it on like parts of my body because I'm like, hey, I have it, I've got to use it up. Let's put it on the arms, let's put it on the legs, let's put it wherever. You know, you can always get skincare benefits from these products on other parts of your body. It's just sort of expensive to do that, but when you have something on hand, why not just use it somewhere else? The other one that I really like is from CeraVe. This is the Skin Renewing Cream Serum. This one has retinol and ceramides. Ceramides are fantastic for the skin. They really help to repair the skin's lipid barrier. Niacinamide and ceramides are in a lot of the CeraVe products, so it's not a surprise to see it here. This was relatively expensive. This is 1 ounce of product, and I believe I paid $30 for this, if I'm remembering correctly. I bought it quite a while ago. You can see it's all squeezed out. There's a little bit more product still in there. This I liked because it was sort of a retinol and a moisturizer in one, so I didn't necessarily have to put on another moisturizer on top of this, so that was kind of cool. But I don't feel like the retinol was super effective in this particular product. It worked okay, but there's a reason why I switched to the Luna. I am much more happy with the results that I'm getting with Luna, but this is a great budget version. The Peter Thomas Roth is also on the more expensive side, but as I said, there's tons of products. ROC, they have tons of retinol products, and they're at a really, really affordable price. They're at the drugstore or Target or whatever. So the next and final skincare dupe that I'm going to talk about today, I mentioned using the Believe True Cream Aqua Balm. This stuff is amazing. It has a gel-like texture and kind of a blue color. I don't know if you guys can see that blue tint. I think my lighting is too bright. It smells divine. The reason why I like this is I like that gel-like texture. I like that it doesn't feel heavy on my face. I can put whatever kind of sunscreen I want on top of it, and it's not going to feel heavy, or it's just my final step at night, and it kind of gives me this nice like clean feeling, which is nice because I've just put all these other different things on my face. The dupe for it, which is actually price-wise about the same, this is the Tarte Drink of H2o. This is their newer gel moisturizer. This one also has a blue tint to it and feels virtually identical. The smell is slightly different, but they're kind of, like if I were to describe them, they're sort of herbally and citrus at the same time. I mean, they both smell like that, but they do smell different. I find that this one, I don't know how to describe it, but it's more slow absorbing than the one from Belief. But I do prefer the one from Belief. I think that it just sort of sucks into the skin a little faster, kind of gets me, you know, either to apply my makeup faster or gets me to going to sleep faster because I don't have to sit there and wait for it to soak in. But I also think that the Tarte one actually feels a tiny little bit more hydrating. This one does have quite a bit of citrus smelling stuff in it, so it might be irritating if you have very sensitive skin because it has a lot of citrus essential oils. Otherwise, I really like this. I really wanted to try their new spray. Their new spray hydrator. So I feel like I've been talking for like 500 years and I still feel like there's so much more that I could share with you guys, which is why I'm so excited to keep this going with the Skincare Sundays. Next week I'm going to be talking about shaving your face, so we're going to kind of break pace with the general routine and talk about something more specific. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about face shaving, or dermaplaning as it's sometimes called, although the type of face shaving I do is a little bit different from that. Mikey's kind of like an aficionado of different beard treatments, so I asked him to make a video about facial beard care, which I think is going to be quite fun. I'm really excited for him to make that video. And then going forward, I'm going to start trying to like dive into like more categories, like talk all about cleansers, all about sunscreen. You guys notice I didn't mention sunscreen dupes. Dude, there's like 500 million sunscreens out there. Find one you like and use it. But I want to talk a little bit more about the difference of the types of sunscreens, and we'll discuss that then. Just to kind of give you guys like a little taste of what's coming. Thank you guys so much for watching. There will be a new video in just a couple of days showing you guys how I dye my extensions. Yes, I am wearing extensions right now. I'm wearing them quite high up, so they're not much longer than my own hair naturally, but they give me a little pop of color, and I'll show you guys how I dyed them in that upcoming video. So I'll see you guys then, and remember to be vintage or tacky. Just be kind of beautiful. See you, bye.